up, dude?
What's up? What's up?
So
Still in isolation, and I'm still sane. I promise.
so you talked about action figures in our previous video, so I thought I would try pretend like I know what I'm talking about and talk about some statues that I own. So yeah,
Okay.
man, this is gonna be just one or two statues that I think are underrated.
Okay, but if I can just pick your brain before you, why statues? Is it an art appreciation thing? Is it character specific? Just talk me through where that's coming from.
You know what, dude? I actually don't know, but something about statues just pulled me in about. It's almost like this masterpiece that needs to be put away, and it's the sculpting. It's like this mixture of everything. And I don't know if you can agree with me that there is some like face sculptures that they get so horribly wrong. So when they get it right, it's just so much more amazing. It's just like, what? That's like, yo.
Okay, so hang on. In your opinion, getting it right, does that meet your visual idea in your mind of what that character looks like? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so it's a combination thing. So yes, that, but if you can see it was intentional, if it's, you get a lot of statues that are cover swipes of a specific comic, right?
Okay.
Or the one face sculptor that I think they horribly get wrong is Wonder Woman. I feel so bad for her. Like, there's very few that you're like, wow.
Okay.
The thing is, dude, like, I do want to state
And
this, like,
what's interesting there for me right now is I think there's also two versions or images of Wonder Woman currently. There's Wonder Woman comics Wonder Woman, and there's Gal Gadot Wonder Woman from the movies Wonder Woman. Do you see that a lot?
yeah, no, definitely. And also what I think what throws people off is Wonder Woman comics, well, old Wonder Woman comics, she's a lot more masculine because she's an Amazonian, right?
Right.
And they've tried to like sort of dumb her down's the wrong word, but like bring up her like feminine features more. That she's got a like more sex feel. But I mean the more like animated old Wonder Woman, she had broad shoulders and she was like, "I'll take you out, man." Like where
Exactly,
so
which is right because she, like you say, Amazon.
so I do think there is this combination of things happening where people are trying to find middle points that like makes everyone happy, and then they kind of like screw it up. And look, I mean that's my opinion, but I just do want to know that I am definitely not like a super serious statue collector. I've toned down my collection. I have like one main cabinet that's got like, one or two hardcore statues, and then like very moderate in terms of collecting. And maybe that's something we can look at, because there are various amazing statue collectors that have got insane collections, and a few companies here locally that we have.
Okay, I didn't even know we had local guys.
There is one where they do XM statues, which is called Symbiote Collectibles.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll try see. I might know one or two guys from there, but they were the guys at Comic Con Africa. For anyone who was at Comic Con Africa, that it was this insanely enormous statues, and generally they limited and they numbered them. Sideshow and them do that often, where there's 1 in 900 in the world or 1 in 400. Which obviously instantly, and these kinds of statues are sold out like before they pre-ordered like a year in advance sometimes, and they're still working.
I've even heard guys talk about that some of these companies, when they announce the thing, they even offer people payment plans.
Yeah, 100%.
Like pay the thing off.
Because it is, dude. So anyone who even remotely collects will know this, but for anyone who's just generally watching, these statues are easily $2,000, $3,000, like sometimes. And they're massive. They're really big. I will try.
Yeah.
I've got one, and it's a company called Sideshow, and I'll show it some other time. And it's my favorite character. He's Nightcrawler. I had to order it in from the States, especially. I had to buy it secondhand because it was limited. And it was 400 of them were made. So
that's cool and that's crazy at the same time.
So the problem is you do get this influx of guys that like know nothing about the characters but just want every big like statue. And we've talked about this, and I know it's mean, but I generally see a lot in the statue collecting culture where it's like it feels like they were a nerd when they were younger, and now they've got a lot of money and finance, so they're like, look at me, I'm cool, I'm going to show you my big bad toys. But I think there's some of that in all of us, I guess, at some point, So, again, you actually said it. Everyone's got their reason for collecting. So it's like, who are we to to judge them. If that's their form of escapism, it is. So
And again, as long as they're doing it for the right reasons, I see a lot of guys in the community. They come in, they try to turn a quick buck or something like that, and I don't necessarily agree with it. If it works for them, okay. But going back to what you're saying, what I was saying in the other clip is, I believe these things should give you some sort of joy, some sort of happiness, sense of accomplishment. I mean, I'm pretty sure when you look at your statues in your cabinet, it makes you feel good in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think it might be a conversation for another day. I want us to do a separate video on that. I've literally just thought of it now. But I know we've touched on reasons for collecting, but at some point, and you know about this well, but I'd like to talk about it, because if there's one person out there that feels the same way as I did, I just don't want them to feel shitty and ashamed about it. But I started collecting for the wrong reasons. And I had like a turnaround halfway point where I was like, whoa, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel
it should never be there.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a whole nother video. I really do think we should talk about that.
Okay.
And what I can say is that I've nailed that with my statues. Like I said, I've got a very small collection, but every single one of them I look at and I'm like, damn, that's cool. Every time I look at it, like your action figures, and I did. I even in the beginning I bought way too many statues and I ended up selling them because I was like, I don't even like this character. Why do I have the statue?
Right.
And now like every single character I've got. And actually, if we do a follow up onto this, as you guys will see, I'm going to show you guys a Zatanna statue, which she concurrently is going to come up over and over again. I have like a mini Zatanna collection, so I'll maybe actually like show all of them to you guys, which will be cool.
Yeah, very.
But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's a smaller collection, but every one of them are like, that's cool. That's exactly what I want. So I do also encourage people, if you want to have a massive collection, cool. But if you look at just the economic sort of times we're in, I encourage people to like not downsize, but just get things that are going to hold, that maybe aren't cool right now because everyone else loves Deadpool. Go buy a Deadpool statue. Like if you genuinely love Deadpool, cool, go buy a Deadpool statue. But don't. You're going to end up wasting your own money. That's like just my little wisdom knowledge. Like that I've learned the hard way, man. But yeah, dude, I don't know if we want to go straight into, I'm going to bring out a statue. I'm going to try get it on camera as best as I can. This is
cool.
Strictly, it's not the most expensive statue by statue standards. And it's 100%, what's the word? But it's got a place in my heart because I've got such a love for Frank Miller, the comics, and the film, which is Sin City. So this is a statue of Marv, which a lot of people don't see. So I'm going to just grab it quick.
Okay, do that. I'm entertaining the market statue.
Yeah, so this isn't like Warren's action figures. These guys are heavy, and I don't feel like dropping this, but I will see if there's actually another YouTube video where someone's done an in-depth thing. But as you can see, it's got Marv pointing his gun, and this is it's like heavy, man. It feels like porcelain, and he's on his stand. It's down to the T of, I don't know if you guys can see, he's got like,
There's detailing in the trench coat to make it flow, the lines.
He's got even the cigarette in his mouth.
Cool.
And the coat is like wavy, but it is still part of the porcelain. He's got bloody bandages on. And this is one thing that this is an example of what I want to tell you about. It's where it looks like Marv from the comics, but it also looks like, what's his name? Mickey Rourke, the actor.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Jazz hands for the folks. Jazz hands while Mark puts it down.
So they found that that in between, and it just works so well. And I actually got this on our local auctions, on our Shire auctions, from a gentleman called Oliver. You know him, Ollie.
Yeah.
And I didn't see. It was interesting that he was selling it, and it was. I'll be honest, it was like this hesitant bid. I'm like, no, Mark, you shouldn't be doing this. And I'm so happy. Like, dude, I look at this thing every day I come into this room, and it's, it gives me a smile, man.
You see, that is what it's all about for me. It's this thing that somehow came into your world, your universe, for a really great guy, reputable guy in Ollie, and years down the line, you look at this thing and there's happiness and joy.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Yeah, no. And so just to follow up the second one that I want to show you, so this, I think, is a really underrated range. It's called the Bombshell range from DC. And what they've done is they've taken a bunch of their like DC like lady heroes and stuff, and they've kind of like changed up the image, and they like they do something different with everyone. And surprise, surprise, I've got Zatanna here. So, and
it looks like she's almost like from like the 40s and 50s era. The outfit she's wearing.
Yeah. So what I love about this, and what blows me away, and I think it's because people don't know much about Zatanna. This often I see on sale secondhand for like really great prices. And what's really cool is it's typical her, but like you said, it's got that 40s. There's a specific word for it, and I can't think about it, but a lot of like punk rock girls dress like this. It's lost to me, the word, but it's the hairstyle and the corset and stuff.
Right.
But what I love
I'm sure
about
people will put it in the comments for you, man.
Yeah, and what I love about the detail in this, man, and this is a really one of those reasonably priced statues for anyone who wants to know. It's like in South Africa, it's about your sort of 2,000 Rand range, 1,500, 2,000 Rand. So for a statue that's kind of like your lower medium, you know, it's not, I know it's a lot of money to all the normal people out there who don't do this, but
yeah.
I just want to note that, and I'll try to get it really close up, but on her chest, she's got like a chest piece tattoo. That's why I said it's very like punk rock, and she's got like a eyebrow piercing and stuff. And you know me, man, I'm a rock and roll kid, but even on her chest, I don't know if I'll get it in on camera. I'm so not. But on her chest, like her breast, she's got like this like sort of like tattoo, and as in true Zatanna thing, it's got it backwards and says Mistress of Magic.
Oh, nice.
So for those of you who don't know, Zatanna, she is a sort of a witch character, and she casts spells by speaking words backwards. Sounds cheesy, but it's totally cool. Then the last amazing thing about the statue is you'll see, to anyone out there, there's a little bunny at the bottom. I don't know if you've seen this dude, but
with his little tie and everything
and
on
his
it.
cigarette. And anyone who knows, that's 100%. That's Constantine. It's Constantine's tie, his cigarette. So what she's done is in the statue, she's cast Constantine and turned him into a bunny.
Punishing him for something that he probably did to her.
Because through the comics, they've got, you know, this weird like romance that's constantly on and off, but they're like totally meant for each other. So dude,
very nice.
I just think this is such an underrated statue, and I saw one last week on sale secondhand, and I think it's just because people don't realize how badass Zatanna is. She's not, you know, she's not a Wonder Woman, she's not Batman, but and I think you'll see it's a recurring theme with me. I love characters that are underdogs, that are like the B-list characters that are kind of like overlooked, you know. So yeah, man, everything. I'm so glad I picked up the statue. Like it's all these statues that I kind of second guess and I get them, and I'm just so happy I got them. So Zatanna.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to say, I love that whole idea of her and Constantine, you know, so intertwined. So there he is in this little sort of under the radar kind of way. He's done something. She's turned him into a little bunny rabbit. I think that is super cool.
And doesn't say it on the packaging. It doesn't advertise it. Nothing. It's just like, it's that little nod and that little Easter egg to like, yeah, if you're a fan, you'll get it, you know. It's just so cool.
That is nice. I like that kind of execution. The devil is in the little details there. That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I do have, I don't have a really big like Sideshow XM statue of Zatanna, and I think there's one coming out that's just it's really new, and if I can find a picture, I'll put it up on the podcast. It's just
great, just so people can get that visual idea.
And also just scale, it's massive. It's I can't remember the scale off the top of my head. I'm really silly when it comes to that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, man, there's a few exceptions. Like there's one other one that I've always wanted to complement my Nightcrawler. There's a limited, I think 750 made of Gambit. It's a Gambit sideshow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, and to get hold of that, yeah, like people sell it. It's absolutely stupid prices. But And now I'm seeing, which is cool, like XM collectibles and stuff are also like making their own renditions of a newer Gambit that's just as cool. So maybe I'll have to look at something like that. I missed out on a pre-order, but yeah, that I mean, I think the pre-order is going to be about 30,000 Rand for Gambit.
Wow.
So I mean,
and the thing that freaks me out that you talk about what your Zatanna statue cost you in terms of rands, 2,000 Rand, roughly $120. Now you're talking 30,000 Rand for something, and that's around the 100. No, I'm lying. That's the $1,500, $1,800 range that you're talking. That's some big money.
And then it's still got to be shipped and all that, and that's why you use a company. I mean, if you do that solo, dude. I didn't want to mention this in this video, but it's like I said, and I'll bring him out sometime. It's just a mission in his cabinet. Is my Nightcrawler, and dude, I bought it secondhand, and I used a third-party shipper to ship it to me, and one piece came loose, broken. Of his anyone who's a Nightcrawler fan will know he's Bamf. He's like in mid teleport, that pink power like sort of like teleportation kinetic energy that comes out, and one piece is broken off, and I managed to glue it back on with the help of a mate. And you know, like, it sucks because no one would see it, but I know it's there. But it comes back to in the previous video we did about your action figures. Like, dude, you know, I know there's 400 in the world, and wow, that's amazing, and it's hard. It's so easy to get tempted to lean into, like, I can sell this for trillions one day. No, you can't. And that's a very good realization. I'm like, there isn't enough of a Nightcrawler following, one. It's a freaking overpriced statue, two. Like, so the gluing thing doesn't bother me that much anymore, because I know Nightcrawler is there because I freaking love Nightcrawler and no one else does. Well, there's definitely people out there, but not as, it's not some like limited, like, you know, once off, like, you know, I hate to use it, but like Wolverine, because he's got a cult following. So maybe that would go up, and you know, you'd be able to get your bucks out of something like that. But it was never going to be the intention with a Nightcrawler. I bought him because I digged him, you know, not because the value would skyrocket one day.
100%. I think with most of this collecting stuff, it's you know, if there's one of it in the world, that thing, it's always going to go up in value, because there's always going to be someone who would appreciate it, want it, prepared to part with a certain amount of money for it. As soon as you get 400 of them in the world, it's not going to be, it's not as rare, it's not as limited, so it's not going to skyrocket in value. As soon as there's 1,000 in the world, 10,000 in the world, slowly but surely, as the scale of economy goes up, the value takes longer for it to appreciate, because of the availability of that particular item. And I think sometimes, certainly now, I'm seeing it in the comic world. We're almost coming full circle to the good old 90s days, where there was this boom in speculators thinking, oh, if I get this #1 issue in literally 5 years' time, 10 years' time, whatever it may be, it's going to be worth 3-4 times what I paid for it. And I'm seeing it now in just the general industry. Guys are getting stuff. They've been told it's rare, and they hear the word rare. And when we say rare, it's like, okay, there were 100,000 copies of this thing printed. A couple of them made it to South Africa, so it's rare. And they think that, great, I'll get it now, I'll pay a lot of money, but literally in like 2 years' time, I'm going to be able to double what I paid for this thing. And it doesn't work like that. I wish that people would just try and get to that point of realization that you and I both had at some point in this, is, let me just get it because I want it. Let me just get it because something about this thing resonates with me, speaks to me, whether it's the art, whether it's the character, whatever it is. But let me just get it out of love and out of passion, rather than trying to make a quick buck.
I do want to cover that, what you just mentioned. You know, in that same video that I'm busy scripting in my head as we talk, you know, like the real reason for collecting. I do think we should cover all of that. Your experiences, my experiences, and how, you know, man, as much as I love the publishers and stuff because they give us stuff we want, but how blatant it is, you know, on this new false hype that's clearly being created.
Yeah,
because
but
they need to
that,
make
like you
money.
say, I think that's definitely a whole other video in and of itself. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. It does need to be spoken about, I think.